Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Insights with Anthony. Today I'm going to share with you the model of the mind that I've been using for several years, and I believe it helps people to understand why they do what they do and why it can be so tough to change out of date habits, beliefs, and behaviors. I'm also going to present with you an analogy of how your mind works and how these changes can happen. So let's go ahead and start with the model of the mind. So some of this information you might know, in fact, you might know all of it, but I'm going to give you the complete picture as I see it, and that way we're on the same page. So there's two main parts to your thinking. There's the conscious and the subconscious. The conscious is your logical, rational reasoning part of your thinking. It's the part that's paying attention to me right now, your immediate point of focus. It is capable of doing maybe a handful of things at once, and so it's fairly limited in its capacity. By contrast, your subconscious is constantly doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things, all in the background, and most of it outside of your conscious awareness. It's the emotional, imaginative, and creative part of your thinking. Most importantly, for someone like me, it's the part that holds all of your belief systems and your thought and behavioral patterns. So anything you feel you do without thinking, you can't stop doing, or you can't start doing, that's because there's a pattern of thought running in your subconscious that is driving that behavior. Now, if we want to change that pattern of thought, we have to get access to it and introduce something better. So, up until about the ages of, let's say, 8 or 9, we're almost purely subconscious in the way that we're processing things. We're emotional and in the moment. We saw it, we did it, we learned it. We then formed what we might refer to as our map of reality, or our idea about how the world works. A little bit later on, we started to develop our more logical, conscious way of thinking. And with that came this thing that we sometimes refer to as the critical faculty. Now, the critical faculty is the security guard of your mind. When new information comes in, it judges it for truth. If it doesn't match with, or at least isn't compatible with, what you already have on your map of reality, then the security guard will reject it as false. It doesn't matter how logical it seems to your conscious mind. Any attempt to change what's going on in your subconscious mind meets with the resistance of that security guard, whose sole purpose is to maintain a consistent reality. Doesn't matter how unhelpful the reality has become. Tell you how that happens. Let's imagine that you're 4 or 5 years old, you're in the kitchen, and a spider runs out. Mom screams and jumps on a chair, and your learning mind says that's the appropriate response to those things because that's what mom just did, and that's who we're learning from. So that goes into your mind and onto your map of reality, and from that moment on, every spider you see for the rest of your life, your mind produces a fear response. You tense up, your heart beats faster, and you start to sweat. Even though your logical mind is now saying, that's tiny, can't possibly harm me. All of that logical stuff is being rejected by the security guard in your mind because it doesn't match with what you already know. Spiders are indeed scary. So the resistance of that security guard is why we can't usually make subconscious changes all by ourselves, and why control and hypnosis are so important in helping people make those changes, because we simply avoid the security guard and get the message to the right place. Here's a great analogy, or a way to think about it. So think of your mind like a ship. The ship has a captain and a crew. The captain is your logical conscious mind. The captain knows where we're going and why we're going there, and even has a pretty good idea of how we're going to get there. Unfortunately, the part of your mind with its hands on everything that steers and sails this ship is the crew. The crew is your subconscious mind. Now, every member of your crew has a specific job to do. Each member is only concerned with their specific task. Some are doing the right things, and some are doing what your captain now considers to be the wrong things. So when the crew listens to the captain, everything's smooth sailing. However, when the crew isn't listening to the captain, then who knows where we're going? Big ship, open water, nowhere to go. The only reason, or the reason why members of your crew are often found doing the wrong thing, is because they decided what jobs they were going to do long before you had a captain on board. When you were young and had no idea about how the world worked and what your part in it was, your mind and your crew had only one priority: keep the ship afloat. As a result, your mind developed certain strategies that were only designed to keep you out of trouble at a time when you didn't really understand much about how to do that. So now, in spite of how it seems, the members of your crew are only looking to do one thing, and that's to find the best strategy for the most happiness. When you were young, happiness consisted of staying safe and comfortable in the moment. You had no long term goals or ambitions, and as a result, many of the strategies your crew members adopted don't make much sense now to an adult who does have long term goals and ambitions. So the crew we have on board might not have developed many or a lot of the strategies that make our curtain captain happy. And this is why the captain needs to speak to the crew members who are still doing that old unhelpful thing and assign them new jobs. Now, the reason why your crew members are thrilled and happy to change what they're doing is because none of them are out to try to sink your ship. They're all simply looking for that best strategy for the most happiness, the quickest, most direct route. Your mind is an amazing tool. Now learn how to use it instead of it using you. Essentially, be the tool or use the tool. I hope that shines some light on how to get a bit more from life. Remember, I work with people just like you every day to help them do more than simply achieve their goals. I help them excel. Contact me when you're ready to create lasting change in your life. Thanks for watching. My name is Anthony Gitch for Excel Hypnosis, and I'll turn the light on for you.